Hello everybody, it is me, Martinez-Bateman. I am the CEO of New Coyote Consulting, and I am coming to you from my car because I just left Meet the Buyers meeting for state, county, federal, Department of Transportation, and some other bidding processes. I really wanted to stay the whole time, but I didn't realize the agenda. So next time I go to this meeting, I'm going to actually know what to expect. As we are working on growth for New Coyote, which is something we've been talking about, we are working on expanding our reach and getting some more county, state, city, and etc. contracts. And that's an intimidating move. For me, getting COVID certification, which is the certification for women-owned, minority, etc. businesses, this summer was a big step. It was also a really difficult step. As someone who has some level of paperwork trauma from being on Medi-Cal, being on food stamps, being on assistance as a child, and knowing that if you fuck this paperwork up, your life could become drastically worse. And then also having gone through processes where other people made mistakes on my paperwork that caused me a lot of stress and strife. Going through the COVID process is really hard, and I'm really happy that I had my buddy Cody from Guide on the Side to help me. We hired him to help us, and it was just a really good investment. That being said, all of these processes of getting contracts at the city and state and county level, they're very intimidating. I'm not going to lie. I feel intimidated going into these rooms. I feel like there's a bunch of stuff that is not said about how these contracts are awarded and how to get them. And I don't do well with subtext. I also have not really, like, the closest relationship I've ever had with someone who worked for the state is like my friends who are teachers and my ex-stepdad who was a garbage man. Like, it's, I don't feel like a mover and a shaker in this space. And I feel like a lot of the contracts that we're talking about in these meetings, or that I see talked about in the context that I'm going into, are construction contracts, which obviously is not what we do. We do training and we do communications, which I know these agencies need, but I just really have a hard time seeing where we fit in there. And another shout out to my friend Cody, who is running a course right now that we're in called How to Get Money to Do Cool Stuff, I think is what it's called. But it's just this amazing course that's really helping to demystify the experience of going for these bids and trying to get this funding. And it's just like having someone who has anything close to a similar background as me to explain what's going on is just really, really helpful. Because I do definitely feel like kind of out of my depth. And I know it's just a skill thing, and it's just a thing that I can learn, and it's like I said, it's a skill set, and I can learn it, and if it can be learned, I can figure it out. And that's part of running a business, right? Is always having new things that you have to learn and discover, and new skills that you can grow, and new problems that you can solve. Like, if I didn't want to be on top of my game all the time, I wouldn't have started a business, right? Like, this is what I'm here to do, is to tackle these problems and figure them out. So I feel very stimulated, not quite overstimulated yet, but also, yeah, going out of my comfort zone. It's a part of business ownership. It's a part of leadership. It's a part of growing and becoming what you want to be in the world and what you're meant to be in the world, and sort of chasing that. So, big feelings this morning. I'm not going to do a long video because it is already actually Wednesday when I'm recording this. I got my COVID update shot. The CDC is telling people to call it a COVID I'm getting COVID and COVID confused because anyway, your COVID, novel coronavirus vaccine, the newest 2024-2025 vaccine is not a booster, it's an update because it is a new formula. And the new formula is showing that it's providing much better protection against the current strains that are going around. And I'm talking about the Pfizer-Moderna update. The Novavax update is still performing better than the previous booster, but Novavax, as far as I've read, has not been shown to be as effective because it's not going after Omicron strains, it's going after strains that have since died out. So that's my very, very cursory research into what's going on with COVID vaccines right now. But please, 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 if you haven't had a vaccine in the last 6 months, and if you haven't had COVID in the last 3 months, please get your COVID vaccine. We're going into fall, we're going into winter, people are going to be inside more, flu season is going to kick up. Every fall and winter, the hospitals have more respiratory cases anyway. It's just a really good idea to get vaccinated. So that's my little pitch for please getting vaccinated. I did feel a little bit off yesterday afternoon, but that could have been because all the dogs in my neighborhood decided to bark all night long. I think we have a coyote in our neighborhood, and I'm glad that they were all barking because hopefully that coyote realized that maybe this neighborhood is not for her. But that plus the vaccine did not help me yesterday. So that's why I'm recording today. I will see you next week. Have a lunch, have a walk, have a weekend. Don't work for free. See you later.